From the Fox 5 studios, this is the RebZone Sports Show.
Sponsored by Hennessy Haight, Help is Here, and by Flowing Tide Pub.
Welcome into the RebZone. Coach, very fired up to have you in studio. March is here, getting ready for some March Madness action. I know the Mountain West, the tournament is right around the corner. The Thomas and Mack was electric on Friday night. So cool to see the posters they were giving away, all the fan support. It was great to see, but want to talk about how dominant your Rebels are playing right now. So clutch, rebounding, playing really strong on defense. What are you seeing from your guys?
Just really locked in, just focusing on the defensive side, guarding people, but finishing a lot of possessions with rebounds and not giving up offensive rebounds, I think has been a huge difference for us, especially in the last week. Yeah,
I know we mentioned Jaden Henley, but want to take a look at the next two games on tap. The final two regular season games of the year. San Diego State on Tuesday night, an 8 p.m. tip-off, senior night. You don't want to miss this one. And wrapping up the regular season on the road at New Mexico on Friday night for a thriller in the pit. Coach, really pumped up for this week. Really excited to see your guys step up. I think what you told me on Friday night that really stood to me was, your guys have been ready for anything this season.
Yeah, got thrown a couple curveballs, and but guys have banded together well, continued to work at it, and I thought this last week was as best of an example as we could get.
All right, so you guys play on Friday night. You beat the Wolfpack. What does that do for you, this extra day of prep for San Diego State? Yeah,
it was kind of a unique stretch that we've had a couple times in conference where you have 3 games in 7 days. Yeah. So a little bit longer of kind of getting ready in terms of quicker and not as much time to kind of recuperate, have that day off. So having that Friday night game kind of gave us Saturday to give the guys so that we could get back in today and get ready for another tough one.
Yeah, it's been a busy week here at UNLV. It's only getting busier with the Mountain West tournament tipping off next week. Well, let's check out the highlights from Friday night. A sold-out student section at the Thomas and Mack, Las Vegas, ready to see the Rebs put a beat down on the Wolfpack. Jaden Henley picks up where he left off. Henley recorded a new career high, 23 points on Friday night. Rebels take a 3-0 lead over UNR. Still can't get over how athletic Bear Cherry has become. Cherry and his Rebels are off to a dominant start in this rivalry. Here comes Jalen Bedford showing off the handles and the beautiful jumper. Rebels up by 1 over the Pack. The Runnin Rebels grabbed a season-high 48 rebounds on Friday night, showing off their physicality in this rivalry. The freshmen, Pop NJ, doing it all for UNLV. The Rebels run into the locker room up 34-26. Keeping up the fight, Jalen Hill finds Bear Cherry, and the Rebels are dominating up by 11 in the second half. Jaden Henley was hooping this week. Excited to see more action from the junior Rebel, who is hungry for more wins in March. Big team win for the Rebels, clinching their first win over the Wolfpack since March 4th, 2023. Henley says he is all about this Silver State rivalry.
I like to think of myself as my own person, really, but a lot of people my favorite player is Kobe Bryant, but in today's game, I look at guys like Karis LeVert, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, big guards that are kind of wiry and can get their game off.
I think for me, my dad always told me this, that I play like Scottie Pippen. Always growing up, I didn't really like it, but I think now I can really see it, so.
Okay, so Jaden Henley and Jalen Hill talking about who they like, who they emulate their style off of. 2 players, 2 playmakers for you. What are you seeing from these 2 players down the stretch of the season?
Well, just a really good week. We talked to them when DJ went out about having a lot of the primary ball handling responsibilities, and they both, I think, just kind of sharpened in and focused on that. And we got a lot of really good possessions, and it's in large part because both those guys have really taken on that responsibility.
Yeah, we mentioned the star of the night, Jaden Henley, really stepping up. He's told me on the RebZone that they're hungry to win the Mountain West Championship. He's hungry to step up shorthanded. But what did you like about their dominance defensively against the Wolfpack?
Yeah, not allowing offensive rebounds, holding them to 55 points. This group's focus over the last really kind of month and a half has been to guard and to keep people's the shot quality low so that we can have good defensive possessions, because as I mentioned, with a couple curveballs, the offensive side is a little harder to figure out and it's going to take a little bit more time, but the defensive side can still be where we can be really strong, and the guys have done a great job of doing that.
Speaking of defense, speaking of physicality, I want to ask you about the season high 48 rebounds, just doing a heck of a job rebounding the ball. What do you want to see against the Aztecs?
You got to do it again, and it's against with them in New Mexico this season. That's your toughest challenge. You know they're extremely physical. They play really hard. They play so well together. So our challenge is the same as when we went to San Diego. That you got to be ready for the fight. You got to embrace it and enjoy it, and know that you're not going to win every single battle, but you can't get discouraged. You can't get distracted. You just got to focus every time because it's going to be physical, it's going to be a fight, and it should be a good game.
I think I'm just bringing grit and just being a dog, as if we say. I mean, Coach Perry says all the time, go out there and just be a dog. For us, I mean, we haven't lost any doubt. We want to win the Mountain West Conference Championship, so we're going to go to the tournament. We got to go on strong, obviously, so we get a good seeding. So I mean, we're going to go out there and try to win.
Jaden Henley is a dog. The DePaul transfer racked up 22 points in San Jose and posted 4 steals. UNLV flexed their dominance on the road in San Jose State and shot 76% from the free throw line. We got more Runnin Rebels hoops coming up. Welcome back to the RebZone. Head coach of the Runnin Rebels, Kevin Kruger, joining us in studio. It is March, and the Runnin Rebels are rolling into the month with momentum dominating UNR and San Jose State this week, getting ready to wrap up conference play against the Aztecs and Lobos. Coach, I think I want to point out that you guys have won 5 of your last 6 games. When we talk about the momentum, when we talk about the work ethic, the execution, what are you seeing from your guys right now?
Guys are just locked in, dialed in. It's a point in the season where you don't get a lot of up and down reps, a lot of kind of competitive 5-on-5 or physical reps during practice. So you got to be really locked in and really focused. And the most important thing at this point, especially for our group, is to go into each game as healthy as possible with as many as the bodies that have dropped that we've had this year. So that's been kind of our primary focus, and guys have done a really good job with that.
Yeah, your team has been battle tested. And before we look at the San Jose State win, want to talk about DJ Thomas going down, what you saw from your team really stepping up, especially Jaden Henley and Jalen Hill.
Yeah, I mean, even in the first game without him, Colorado State, we were 7 of 17 from the free throw line. We did everything we needed to give ourselves a chance to win the ball game. It just came up a little short against a Colorado State team right now that's rolling. I mean, if you saw them yesterday, they're playing really well. So I think that also, even though it was a loss and we don't do the moral victories, I thought that there were pieces of that game guys could pull some confidence from, and we really felt that in San Jose because they went out there and played a really good 40-minute game against a good team in a tough environment. Yeah,
Jaden Henley has said his confidence has never wavered this season, so really excited to see your guys get back to work. Well, let's take a look back at Tuesday night's win in San Jose. Like we mentioned, the Runnin Rebels were shorthanded on the road without their starting point guard DJ Thomas missing his 2nd straight game with an upper body injury. The Spartans throw the first punch. Former Rebel Donovan Yap pokes the ball away from Bear Cherry and flies up to the rim for 2. San Jose State jumps on the board first. Rebels respond. UNLV trying to find an offensive rhythm without DJ Thomas. Beautiful play by the Rebels right here. UNLV jumps out in front 6-2. Jalen Bedford coming off a 17-point performance against the Rams, knocks down back-to-back buckets, giving the Rebs some juice. Jaden Henley was unstoppable in San Jose. Henley says he's a dog and he's playing like it. Henley scores 22 against the Spartans and posted 4 steals. The Rebels run into the locker room up 35-31 at the half. Here comes Bear Cherry just showing off his physicality. Henley would finish on the other end for 2. The Rebels are cruising. And look at this flow, this chemistry between Henley and Cherry. Just so beautiful. The Rebels are up by 6 in the second half. UNLV takes over this ball game and finished 16 of 21 from the free throw line. Huge night for Jaden Henley on both ends of the court and finishing 7 of 8 from the line. The Rebels were clutch, coming down to the wire in San Jose.
I mean, we work on free throws religiously. I mean, obviously last game we didn't shoot from the free throw line well, so we were in the gym working on that. So, I mean, we just got to get the reps up and we'll be fine. DJ going down, it was unexpected. Obviously in the Fresno State game, we saw something was wrong, but we didn't think it was serious. So, I mean, he goes down, it's just next man up. You got to be able to perform. And for us, I mean, we haven't lost any doubt. We want to win the Mountain West Conference Championship, so we're going to go to the tournament. We got to go in strong, obviously, so we get a good seeding. So, I mean, we're going to go out there and try to win.
Oh, Rebel Nation fired to hear that up. Huge night for Henley on the road, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 7 of 8 from the line. Like I mentioned, 16 of 21 from the free throw line. The execution in this game, what did you like from your squad? Just a really good finish. Again, when you got a guy like DJ that has the ball, especially in those late game situations, that was a little bit of our second opportunity after Colorado State, and guys were really good out of timeouts. Of course, making free throws down the wire there with Jaden Henley, Jalen Hill, kind of kept that at that 4 and that 5-point cushion, so that making those free throws changes everything in those last couple minutes. And the guys locked in, they were focused, but they were ready for either direction. And I thought leaving those timeouts, being ready either direction, kind of gave everyone a sense of confidence that we were still going to come out on top. Now, this is a veteran. This is an older team with Power 4 experience. When Jaden Henley talks about, practicing free throws religiously, what is that extra work ethic you see in practice? Just focusing and locking in on it a little bit more. Yeah. Realizing that free throws have kind of cost us a couple games potentially, and just being that more dialed in, just being a little more focused, maybe being a little more tired if you shoot them after practice or whatever the situation may be, because as San Jose went down and made the last 4, which kind of kept them at bay and allowed us to get out of San Jose with a win. Yeah, well, if you ever come to a Runnin Rebels practice, you can see how focused and intense it is. It's always a lot of fun to join Kevin Kruger and his guys at practice, but want to get ready for San Diego State on Tuesday night. A huge matchup, 8 p.m. tip-off, senior night at the Thomas & Mack, and we're taking a look back at UNLV's huge road win against the Aztecs. What a performance from your guys on the road against the Aztecs. What can you take away from this win? Well, I think that they know now how physical it's going to be. When you play San Diego State, it's a different level of physicality and toughness that's required. And the guys went into that game with an understanding and an appreciation for it. And I think that's what allowed us to come out of there with a win. But now we've also got to understand that it's going to be more physical. San Diego State has just gotten better as the years gone on, and it's something that they're going to come in here remembering that game in San Diego. So we've got to understand it's going to be more physical. We've got to be more dialed in. We've got to be more ready if we want to be able to get them again. It's going to be a fun one on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. tip-off at the Thomas & Mack. Want to ask you about wrapping up the season on the road in the pit against New Mexico. Donovan Dent and his squad rolling this season. This was a nail-biter, Coach. What can you take away from this loss against New Mexico? Yeah, I think, again, another game. We had a chance down the wire. We had a lead in the last couple minutes. We just weren't able to hold on to. Of course, Donovan had a great game against us, so that's something we got to focus on and be a little bit more ready for. And they're a little different animal at the pit. So we've got to know and understand the value of the ball, the value of getting back defensively and slowing them down as much as we possibly can. But because we play better at a slower tempo, they play better at a faster tempo. So we've just got to be locked in. Yeah, locked in. That is the theme in the month of March. Really excited to see UNLV take on SDSU and New Mexico this week. Well, March is also Women's History Month, and the Lady Rebels honored a historic senior class. For the first time in program history, the Lady Rebels have clinched 4 straight regular season titles and want to watch the confetti fall down next week at the Thomas & Mack. We'll hear more from Lindy LaRocque on rolling into March on an 8-game win streak. Lindy LaRocque and her Lady Rebels continue to make history in Las Vegas. The Mountain West tournament is just 1 week away, and the Lady Rebels have clinched their 4th straight Mountain West regular season title. The Lady Rebels have only lost 1 conference game this season and are rolling into March on an 8-game win streak. We'll hear more from the Lady Rebels on their mission to win their 4th straight Mountain West championship and their hunger to win in the NCAA tournament. You're taking a look at 4 historic Rebels honored in the Lady Rebels' last home game of the season. Alyssa Brown, Kiara Jackson, Macy James, and Kennedy Winfrey have won 3 rings and are ready for their next one. The Lady Rebels wrapped up their final game at the Cox Pavilion with a dominating 89-56 win over San Jose State. The Lady Rebels were led by freshman Meadow Rowland, who scored 24 points against the Spartans and grabbed 6 rebounds. McKenna Brackens and Kiara Jackson each contributed 15 in UNLV's dominant win. The Lady Rebels finished senior day with a 33-point dub and finished 24 of 25 from the free throw line. UNLV has 1 road game remaining on Wednesday night in Laramie, Wyoming. The Lady Rebels have already clinched the #1 seed in the Mountain West tournament and are ready to make more history in March.
when you think about like their careers, 4 years, all they know are championships, are rings, a handful of conference losses over the course of the 4 years. It's just it's laid the foundation, whatever you want to call it. It's put our program on the map, and we owe a huge credit to them and the hard work that they've put in. Well, we're obviously really proud of what we've done. The regular season is really hard to win, but we know that it's going to take a tournament championship because we want to control our own destiny, and it's just fun. Winning is fun. That championship, winning 3 games in 3 days, there's nothing like it. Just the exhaustion, the thrill, the adrenaline, and we're gonna have our work cut out for us again, but we're gonna be ready.
Let's talk about the credit you give to your players. A lot of new pieces this season. How have you enjoyed watching this team come together?
It's been awesome. People ask me about the team all the time, and I think what describes this group is just the balance, their adaptability. We have so much talent from top to bottom. Me as a coach, whatever the game calls for, whatever the situation needs, I'm really confident that we have that skill on our group.
I think it's amazing just how much women's basketball has grown, and I think being 4P champs is something that's never been done before, in any conference. So I just think if we do that, it definitely put us on the map for sure, and just show how big this school is and just how competitive we are.
Lindy showed a lot of fire in her voice, her hunger for that 4th tournament championship. Talk about your hunger, the fire you have to win that 4th one.
Yes, I'm so ready. I can't, it's my last year. I want to go out with a bang. There's nothing that's going to stop me from doing that.
All right, coming up next, we are going behind the scenes at the NFL Combine. Jackson Woodard and Ricky White making their NFL Combine debut in Indy. Really excited to see the Rebels on the national stage. We'll hear more from Coach Kruger and the Runnin Rebels coming up.
It's been 15 years since UNLV has had a player selected in the NFL draft. Now there are 2 Rebel players here at the Combine this week, this close to having their childhood dreams come true. In 2 years at UNLV, Jackson Woodard made his mark on and off the field. He's the first Rebel linebacker to be named an All-American. He's the first player in UNLV football history to be a first-team academic All-American, and he was a key component to the resurgence of Rebel football.
What we were able to do in those 2 years is really special, and I have a lot of pride in that, and I know my teammates think the same. We came in, had no excuses, didn't ask questions, and just went to work, and the hard work led to wins.
Now Woodard is at the Combine, ready to take his game to yet another level.
I just want to show teams who I am, what I'm about, and go and compete, be my best.
Woodard says his time at UNLV prepared him for the draft process and the NFL.
I've been blessed with incredible coaches. Coach Odom and the staff, Coach Fish and the strength and conditioning department has prepared me very well. I feel very confident coming into this process, and I feel like the last 2 years I approached the game and the process of the game like a pro.
This April, Woodard will achieve the pinnacle of the sport, the ultimate goal for a player that has earned everything he's achieved and is yet to achieve in the NFL.
Football has given me everything. I go to sleep thinking about it, wake up thinking about it. I owe the game a lot.
In Indianapolis, Kevin Bollinger, Fox 5 News Local, Las Vegas.
Yeah, pretty cool to see Jackson Woodard and Ricky White performing in Indy. Great week for UNLV football and the brand of UNLV once again being in the national spotlight. Coach, speaking of the national spotlight, I want to talk to you about some exciting news we got to see this week. The Players Era. UNLV has been selected to play in the 2025 Players Era Men's Championship at the MGM Grand. Not only will UNLV have another opportunity to play against Power 4 teams, but also paid $1 million for their NIL activities during the event. Win-win situation for the Runnin Rebels. Here's a look at all the teams UNLV will be competing against next fall. Coach, what do you think about this opportunity?
Well, in today's era of NIL, it's a huge boost for our NIL kind of situation or standing right now, and of course you get to play against great teams and great programs, so it's kind of a win-win. And I think to be invited is an honor, and to be home for it especially could have some great crowds and some great games, and of course it helps the NIL approach as well.
Yeah, more Runnin Rebels hoops on the Strip. A lot to look forward to. Coach, I want to wrap up the show with Jaden Hill being honored on senior night on Tuesday night. Everything that he's gone through. Let's wrap up the show with your final thoughts on Hill.
There's just not enough to say, really. I mean, I remember recruiting him when I was at Oklahoma when he was 16 years old, and you know, he's had an unbelievable journey and path, an unbelievable worker, team first guy, unbelievable person, great family. Obviously had some setbacks with injuries and some adversity, and has done nothing but fight through it and continue to compete. And I mean, he loves